As a Pelicans fan, I've enjoyed the hot start to the season so much that I've been really holding back when it comes to criticism of the team. It was hard to be mad when my team was cruising through games while sitting on top of the cushiest seat out west. Though the Pelicans have been very good to start this season and still are, there are some things that this team has to get fixed if it wants to strike fear into its opponents every single night. If it wants to compete at the highest level and compete for championships, then there are going to have to be some changes. The last thing I want for this franchise is for people to look back at Zion's prime and wonder what could have happened if the front office got it right. I'm sure that there are some young stars or even superstars that you guys could think of right now whose early prime could be going a whole lot better team-wise. While there are some issues down in the know that we have to discuss in this video, I'm no hater. How could I be mad at anything that has transpired this season? Griffin and Langdon have done such a good job putting this team together that it isn't just competitive or exciting, but also it's a team that has a lot of love for the city, and that is something that I am forever grateful for. Now, before we go any further, I want to give a major shout out to PrizePicks for bringing this Boss Pickmas promo to us and sponsoring today's content. Thanks to PrizePicks 12 days of Pickmas promo, I was able to take advantage of this $5 lineup, which won me a quick little 15 from their Tuesday Super Taco promo. With PrizePicks, you do not have to risk a lot to test out your knowledge of the game. From now until Christmas Day, you can unwrap a new promo daily like projection discounts, free entries, and even protected plays. What I love about Pickmas is the promos just keep getting better, but it's only around for a limited time, so you have to take advantage of it while you can. Check it out. If you sign up and play today, you have a chance to win an entry that pays out $500K. Download the PrizePicks app by clicking the link in the description below and use code COOP to get your deposit instantly matched. Also, don't forget to check out prizepicks.com/Pickmas Nightly to see each promo unwrapped at midnight Eastern time. When Zion threw down that 360 windmill, I loved the moment, but I knew that there was a chance that it'd come back to haunt us. I just didn't think it'd come back in the form of Devin Booker giving us 58 on 34 shots and then going for a nasty 60 at the buzzer. With that being said, I know it's easier said than done, but there's no shot that I let somebody of Book's caliber give me 58. I know that some of you watching this are probably like, what are you going to do, lock him down? No, I'm not saying that at all. Look at it like this. If a role player like Corey Brewer explodes for 50 like he did that one game, then so be it. But it won't be somebody like D-Book giving me 50. I'm a Pelicans fan, but I can admit that when Book gets on a heater, things get ugly. We saw up close and personal what this guy could do to us in last season's playoffs. He was cooking us so bad he was dapping up babies. The Pelicans switch a lot on defense. Book hunted a tired Zion continuously and attacked the weakest link in screen and rolls consistently. He would also just cook who was ever in front of him, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm giving him the Joakim Noah pickup game treatment if it comes down to it.
Hey, bro, we not doubling an open gym, bro. Yeah, we are. I get that shit all season, bro. Come on, man. Let's work on our game, bro. Yeah, we are. Let's work on our game. Part of the game.
This Pelzo would be just one of their 4 straight at the time that I'm making this video. The other 3 would come against the Jazz, who they lost to twice, including a heartbreaking overtime L, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's talk about the L to the Milwaukee Bucks, who are bona fide contenders what feels like every single year. The Bucks are big, they are physical, and they don't believe in getting beat inside the arc. Zion Williamson is big, physical, and he lives inside the arc. He's quite literally one of the most dominant paint scorers that we've seen since Shaq. This game was a classic case of an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. The Bucks gave the Pelicans an early feeling of what they're going to see in the playoffs with Zion Williamson running the show. The Bucks routinely walled up Zion while dedicating a big like Lopez or Giannis to roam the paint, completely disrespecting whoever they would be matched up with. They wanted to turn Zion Williamson into strictly a facilitator. The Bucks' disrespect went on long enough for Jonas to go 7 of 10 from the three-point line while dropping 37 points and 18 rebounds. Jonas had a monster game. He hit 7 threes, and yet we still lost. The Bucks would eventually move whoever was roaming to Herb or Najee, depending on the situation or who was in the game. Unfortunately, neither of these guys are deadly enough three-point shooters to really make defenses worry. They both do a lot of things well, but at this time, three-point shooting is not one of them. This is why a guy like Trey Murphy is so valuable for New Orleans. I want to start letting a lot more of my hot takes fly. So with that being said, I personally believe that Trey Murphy should be starting for New Orleans. He doesn't need a lot of looks to impact the game. The chances are, if you have Zion in, you probably want him in too for spacing reasons. When the playoffs roll around, this is going to be a guy that you're not going to want to take off the floor again. While starting Trey sounds great in theory, I really don't know who I would bench. What's funny right now is that there's actually a small divide going on between Pelicans fans. Some believe that Jonas needs to be packaged for Miles Turner or Cat. That way the Pelicans could get more shooting or rim protection. And others believe that what Jonas brings to the game is invaluable. Mind you that this guy is shooting 40% from 3. And yes, I know the volume's not necessarily there. I'm kind of torn myself because oftentimes the Pelicans opt to go with Larry over Jonas to close games because of his mobility and rim protection. And I'm not sure that a healthy Pelicans team needs a scoring big, but I do think that they need one that they do trust to close games, word to Shamit. Before I forget, it's also worth noting that without Jonas on the floor, the Pelicans really struggle to rebound the basketball. If they trade him or they don't, they still will likely need to add another big or get the team to buy in as a whole for that department. This is a great time to bring up that the Orlando Magic are expected to shop Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, and the cheap version of Miles Turner, aka Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba shoots the 3 ball with confidence, and he's shooting 39% from deep this season. He's doing this while possessing a 7'10" wingspan. I know that I gas wingspan up way too much, but I love the combination of shooting and wingspan here. Personally, I've always felt that wingspan and standing reach were so much more important than height. If you want to play big, pairing Mo Bamba and Larry Nance off of the bench might not be the worst idea. The sad truth is that these recent losses for the Pelicans have highlighted their problems and how bad this team needs Brandon Ingram. They could definitely use another big-time half-court player such as B.I. The offense could use some diversification, and B.I. is the man for the job. When it comes to the offense, it also doesn't help that this team doesn't really take that many threes. The Pelicans take the 4th least threes per game. There's a reason that we saw this team linked to Cam Johnson in the offseason. In my opinion, it's been amazing that throughout everything that the Pelicans are where they are. But when I remember that this team is undoubtedly one of the deepest in the league that relishes the next man up approach thanks to Willie Green, everything makes so much more sense. But with that being said, sometimes it feels like they're simply running out of people. Now, as much as I and everybody else loves that next man up approach, we also have to ask ourselves some tough questions. One of those being, why has B.I. been out so long? About a month ago, Willie Green would announce that B.I. would be day-to-day with what was originally called a left big toe contusion or sprain. Willie would add that there was no structural damage and that it really is more like a contusion than anything more serious. Here's where things start to get a little murky. Last week, we would be told that Brandon Ingram would be reevaluated in a week, but experienced a small setback during the rehab process. The imaging would still be clear, but the team would continue to be cautious with his return. That's not so bad, right? The team is being cautious and everything is no big deal. They're just taking their time and making sure everything is good, right? Well, check this out. A few days ago, we also would get this update.
He's getting better, but it's been a slow progress or process for him. So we don't have an update on when he'll be ready to play. We're just kind of taking it, week by week right now.
I am personally not a fan of the word setback. And maybe that's not being fair to the word, but as much as I follow basketball, I rarely see it used in a positive manner. Now, step back, that's a good word. Setback, not so much. If you guys were subscribed to me last year, followed the Zion Williamson situation at all, or watched my most recent Chicago Bulls Lonzo Ball video, you'd probably understand why I am a bit concerned. When it comes to situations like this, I try to expect the worst but hope for the best. That way, I'm either prepared for something bad or pleasantly surprised. This injury went from day to day to week to now, according to Willie Green, he'll just miss 2 more games. When the reports start to bounce all over the place, It becomes really hard to know what to believe when it comes to the injury. Oftentimes, this leads people to think the worst. I know there were a few people that wanted to trade BI for KD and all of this stuff, but that was not me. That was never me. I know that this team needs BI. Even during the win streak, there were some really silly things being said that I'm just not going to repeat. As I said, this team needs BI, and it needs BI and Zion to get reps together. These two have only played in 12 games this season. There's no other way to put it, but the Pelicans need to get healthy. The icing on this whole nasty debacle of a cake is that now Zion is set to miss time due to health and safety protocols. Being a New Orleans sports fan is so tough because even when things start to go right, there's always just something there that's just going wrong. The Pelicans are in a really interesting place because they have a good amount of picks, they're incredibly young, they have so much potential, but yet they also have some problems that need to be addressed. I'm very interested to see how active this team is going to be in the trade market. The league feels as open as ever, and I wonder how many teams feel that internally also. When it comes to BI, let's just hope that he's back on the floor sooner as opposed to later, and that when he returns, there are no lingering issues. I've always been a fan of playing it safe when it comes to injuries, so kudos to the Pelicans if that is really what they're doing. This is just me thinking out loud, but I wonder what it would take for Jackson Hayes to get rotational minutes when everybody is healthy. I really wish that he would lock in and just develop that three-pointer. What do you guys want from me? He's a young player, we looked good playing big last season, and I like having that option. Well, let me know what you guys think of everything down in the comments below. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCOOP, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload.